You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey, Y&R fans, I've got your 2-week spoilers for September 16th through the 27th. We've got Victor Newman lying, Connor Newman pressuring, and Sharon Case's 30th anniversary event where all the stuff blows up with her mental health spiral storyline. We've got spoilers on this. This is going to be a very different type of anniversary episode for the actress and the character. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt, and let's dive right in with the action starting on Monday, September 16th. So Heather Stevens comes home from an unsatisfactory job interview. Daniel also didn't get a job. Worshette, Lucy is being a brat again. She has locked herself in her room. They are debating whether they just need to go someplace else and start fresh. But Lucy has threatened to run away if they do, and she overhears them and feeds the fire. Daniel and Heather wind up arguing, and he marches out, and that might not be too good for him because Sharon has a bee in her bonnet about him. So Nick, Faith, and Mariah are talking about Sharon. She isn't answering her phone. She hasn't been showing up to work. Mariah's been covering for her, and now she's missed a doctor appointment, and I do believe she's flushing those pills down the toilet. Faith thinks that Nick's being a little extra about this. No big deal. Mariah kind of thinks the same thing. And Nick is of the mindset that they cannot ignore this, and the girls don't understand how bad it has gotten before. He thinks they need to try family therapy, that might be a way to casually get her back into getting help. And when they insist he might be wrong, he says, okay, I'll take the blame if I am. Meanwhile, over at her house on the ranch, Cameron is telling Sharon she needs to take action before her family takes action to stop her. He said, it's very obvious you're falling apart. And they basically talk about her doing a bad thing and how it could bring Cassie back. It's fully diluted. And he also tells her that it might bring Nick back to her life because she's thinking about him a lot. She's fantasizing about kissing him. She can't take the pressure. She runs out of the house. But of course, Cameron follows her because he's in her head. Nick, Mariah, and Faith miss her. They don't cross paths. They see that the house is a mess and she's gone. So Nick is trying to figure out where she is. Esther is a little freaked out when Sharon comes into Crimson Lights, just acting really off kilter. She gets aggro with her. Then she's out on the patio talking to herself, AKA talking to Cameron. At one point, Sharon is yelling at her hallucination. Esther hears all of that. And when Nick calls looking for Sharon, he says, please keep her there until we get there. But I don't think she's going to be able to. So Cameron and Sharon are talking. She tells him what he's suggesting is repulsive. And he's like, it's your idea, not mine. And then Daniel shows up and he's like, this is your moment. Don't blow it. So Sharon goes and asks Daniel to come sit with her on the back patio to just talk through some things. Meanwhile, Victoria and Cole wake up happily in bed together after a night of passion, discussing how it's even better now than it was then. And of course, her dad told Cole, stay away from my daughter. And he promptly ignored that, and good for him. He wants to quit his job, I think it's at Oxford in England, and relocate to Genoa City full time to be with her and Claire. And Kyle and Claire are at the GCAC when they see Victoria and Cole come downstairs. So they join them, they sit down together and chat. Cole wants to take them all to England with him while he wraps up his job and closes up his apartment to move everything here. He thinks it'd be a good family trip. And then Claire thinks they should invite Kyle along. He's gone to tuck Harrison in, and as he leaves, her parents are like, what are you talking about? What is going on? So, you know, it's a crush, but Victoria kind of already knew about it, but Cole didn't. Tuesday, September 17th, Sharon clears the air with Daniel, but I feel like she's going to do something to him. I don't know if she's going to knock him out, drug him, lure him to her car, and then shove him in the trunk. I don't trust her at this point. Billy Abbott is not going to backtrack about Chelsea and the breakup. It looks like she's asking again. He's not going to reunite with her. And Phyllis is busy making plans about what's next in her life. Well, what's next is her getting a brand new shiny job at Abbott Chancellor. Billy has hired her as the COO, which is probably even more than she was shooting for, because she was pitching like an AI, an IT job, talking about bringing in AI and all this kind of stuff, but she got a big job. Wednesday, September 18th, Victoria is feeling really bad about her dad targeting Billy, targeting Abbott Chancellor, and her knowing about it and not giving Billy a heads up. She's thinking about it. And I remember, I'm trying to think how long ago it was that Nikki had told Victoria if she feels like she needs to warn Billy, then she should. I don't remember if it was about this takeover plot or a different one. I'm trying to remember, but her dad's not going to be so understanding. Meanwhile, speaking of dads, Cole has a talk with Claire, and she opens up to her father, and I'm guessing they're going to talk about boys. They're going to talk about Kyle and her growing affection for him. Meanwhile, Victor, as usual, is keeping secrets, this time from Nikki. Thursday, September 19th, Sharon tries to cover up for her bad deed. I have to guess it was something she did to Daniel. And Lily doesn't want or need advice from Devon or Nate, but they're going to give it to her anyway. Phyllis and Billy sit down to have a strategy session about Abbott Chancellor, probably about Victor's threats. And in the promo, she introduces herself to Lily as the new COO of Abbott Chancellor. And that's a funny reaction, because Lily is just like, wow. She is just disgusted that Billy fired her, let Chance walk away, and then brought in Phyllis. And we all know Phyllis is a pot stirrer. Friday, September 20th, Victor loses his temper with Victoria because she wants to help Billy. And Chelsea and Adam are worried about Connor and, how their breakups will affect him. But then in the promo, Connor doesn't seem too bothered by these breakups, because he is hoping that his parents will reunite. He has got in his mind that they belong together and that their relationship with each other was more significant than what either of them had with their most recent partners. Mariah catches Sharon in a lie on Friday, and Nick is trying to figure out how he can help Sharon out of this spiral. And so he's seeking some advice. I'm hoping it's a medical professional. The week of September 23rd through the 27th, on Tuesday, we're going to see Sharon hitting bottom. That is the special episode for Sharon Case's 30 years in the role. It is not a standalone episode like a lot of anniversary episodes are. Instead, it is going to move her bipolar storyline forward and accelerate that plot to its finale. With Audra on the outs, with Victor angry at her, Kyle ends up being drawn closer to the mustache, but he's got Claire whispering in his ear to not turn his back on his parents, and I hope she might be the better angel that he listens to. Victor, of course, is impatient with Victoria, and I think he's going to hit her with an ultimatum, and I'm sure he's worried that she's going to expose his plan to Billy, but Billy already knows what he's up to, despite the mustache saying he's not doing it. Billy's not a fool. Not in that regard, anyway. Diane is ready to take desperate steps to get closer to Kyle again, because she's at her wit's end. Abby and Devon are starting their wedding planning soon, and Sally and Billy catch up. Both of them are standing firm on not giving their exes another chance. And Connor does want his parents back together, so I wonder if they are going to test drive a reunion to make their kid happy. We'll see how it goes. Those are all of our 2-week spoilers. Please subscribe if you haven't. Definitely drop your comments on what you're excited to see, and come back every single day. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt, talking Young and the Restless with you 7 days a week.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.